Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a blinding dust storm on an interstate in rural Illinois caused dozens of pileups and multiple fatalities. And 5 environmental and cultural heritage groups allege that the FAA violated the National Environment Policy Act when it allowed SpaceX to launch its Starship. Plus, legendary rock and roll band Aerosmith gearing up for one last go around.
Take a look on the outside. The sun is up. The sky is looking very nice this morning. A few high clouds you see there in the distance. It's a live view from Cuero, by the way. Sunny conditions today, even though we'll have cloudy skies. We'll talk about that and the rain chances ahead coming up.
An athlete was shot during a UHV baseball game. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. Today is the second day of May 2023. The time is now 6:31 on your Tuesday morning, and today it's a National Truffle Day. Now this is celebrating the fungi or the fungus, not the chocolate necessarily, and it's a very rare delicacy. It's a rare treat. They're, I think, valued more than gold. I mean, it's more expensive than buying gold per ounce to buy truffles, so it's definitely a treat. I think I've only had truffle, I think it was like truffle covered mushrooms. It was so delicious, Trey. And it was the black truffle, which is one of the 3 kinds. There's white, burgundy, and black truffles.
Oh, sounds fantastic.
They have dogs especially trained to hunt these truffles, Trey.
Really, really. I tell you what, Carolina, you are the truffle expert. I learned more about truffles than I knew prior.
I'm going to put it on my Christmas list.
There
truffles.
you go. There you go. And we'll give you a truffle-filled forecast here. I'll try. I'll do what I can. All right. On the outside, this is a live view from the Cuero ISD WeatherBug site. Cloudy skies, see there, mid to high-level clouds. No rain clouds as of yet. Temperature is 66 degrees currently. The dew point's also in the 66-degree range. 5-mile visibility. Some areas of fog this morning. There is a fog advisory for Colorado County, counties in north and west of that location. 100% humidity, and so definitely warm on the outside, humid, of course. What else is new there? Temperatures throughout the region, near 70 along the coast, mid to upper 60s from Victoria northward. That's pretty common throughout the Crossroads area this morning. And here's the soft, foggy conditions extending from now east of Victoria, along 59 especially. 1-mile visibility all the way from Edna, Ganado, to Wharton, and points to the north and east from there into the Houston metro area. And there'll be some patches in here that have, well, could be seen quarter-mile visibilities along US 59. Same thing you hit toward Palacios in Bay City along 35. North on 77 from Victoria to Yoakum area to Hallettsville. You can see some foggy conditions there more than likely. And some patches in these areas here that will reduce the visibility down to less than 1/4 of a mile, so be prepared for that. Slow speed. Reduce your speed, of course, and the low headlight beams help you see further down the road. Everybody else along the southeast Texas area, Crossroads area, pretty much on the clear side for the time being. Good 10-mile visibilities there in Refugio, for example. High pressure ridging in from the north, keeping the cap in our atmosphere here, even though we have a stationary front over the region. The cap is like keeping the atmosphere just like this, not allowing the moisture to rise up in the atmosphere and form clouds and rain clouds and make them taller, that is, in the atmosphere. So we'll have the small clouds, but they're pretty much uniform around the region, keeping the clouds in. Overcast conditions. High pressure will begin to move further to east with time, as you see here, by about Wednesday into Thursday, opening up the Gulf even more, creating more instability around here, and introducing us finally some rain chances coming up by about Thursday or so around the South Texas region. What are the percentages on that? And the rest of the week forecast, we got you covered. Take a look at that a little bit later on. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Victoria police officers responded to a large street fight in the 3500 block of Wildwood Street Saturday. As they were dispersing the fight, an officer was assaulted. Authorities arrested 33-year-old Jesse Cuereca and were forced to use a taser. During his arrest, police say 41-year-old Joshua Cuellar interfered with officers. Cuereca is charged with assault on a public servant. Cuellar is charged with interfering with public duties. The Wharton Police Department reports Tamia Miles, a Houston woman, is wanted for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Should you know her whereabouts, tip safely and anonymously at p3tips.com. Your tip could earn you a cash reward. The Wharton County Sheriff's Office reports a bailout Monday morning on U.S. Highway 59 just north of FM 102. 3 people were detained, 5 people remain on the run. Deputies are searching for the remaining 5 people. Monday morning, Bay City High School administrators are made aware of an anonymous threat to the high school. Bay City High School students and staff evacuated the campus and relocated to the Bay City Civic Center with additional police protection. A second threat against Bay City High School made around 1:15 p.m. The police presence at the Bay City Civic Center and Bay City High School increased, and the investigation into the threat is ongoing. A blinding dust storm on an interstate in rural Illinois caused dozens of pileups and multiple fatalities. Cell phone video captured the harrowing scene on Interstate 55 north of Farmersville that happened just before 11 a.m. According to authorities, as many as 80 vehicles were involved in collisions on both sides of the interstate after excessive winds blew dirt from farm fields across the highway, leading to zero visibility. As many as 60 passenger cars, 2 big rigs, and 18 commercial vehicles were involved in the massive pile-up. 6 people were killed in the giant wreck, with at least 30 more people being transported to the hospital. According to court filings obtained by news sources, 5 environmental and cultural heritage groups allege that the FAA violated the National Environment Policy Act when it allowed SpaceX to launch its Starship rocket program without a comprehensive environmental review. As the Starship blasted off on April 20th, the launch pad blew up, hurling chunks of debris and particulate matter miles away into sensitive habitat areas and also sparking fire on state park lands. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk said on Twitter, "To the best of our knowledge, there has not been any meaningful damage to the environment that we're aware of." In California, a plane crash at Big Bear Airport in San Bernardino County left 3 people dead Monday. Authorities say the single-engine plane went down at the airport, leaving all 3 people on board the aircraft dead at the scene.
Investigators are examining the wreckage left behind after a small plane crashed into a field near the Big Bear Airport, killing all 3 people inside of it. The FAA says it was a single-engine Beechcraft A36, and it nosedived into the ground so hard its engine was ejected.
Didn't sound right. It just sounded like you could hear it, and then all of a sudden it went silent, and then you heard a crash.
Daniel Villarreal says the plane made a rumbling noise before it came down in his residential neighborhood.
Feel really bad for the families.
And we're always looking out for one another.
Bill Allen is also a pilot. He came to the crash scene today because of the bond pilots share with one another.
And we always want to know what went wrong so that we don't do the same thing.
Multiple sources tell us the pilot was flying another person, possibly a friend, up to Big Bear to purchase an airplane. Pilots told us gusty winds were blowing at the time.
It was gusty, yeah, and that could have contributed to it. But again, we don't like to conjecture what went on till we really know.
The plane is registered to a man who lives in Riverside County. It started the trip in French Valley and made a stop in Corona about an hour before crashing here in Big Bear. At this point, it's unclear if the pilot sent a distress signal. But as a fellow pilot who had to make an emergency landing on his airplane when he collided with a Pelican over Big Bear Lake just last year, Allen says you can do all the training in the world, but it's impossible to simulate the exact scenario you might be in up in the air.
It's really sad. I mean, it's somebody's not sitting down at the dinner table tonight. 3 people are not.
The FAA says it will have a preliminary report out within a day. The victims have not yet been identified. Legendary rock and roll band Aerosmith gearing up for one last go around. The band has announced a 40-date farewell tour they're calling Peace Out, celebrating their 50 years together. It all kicks off in Philadelphia on September the 2nd and includes a New Year's Eve gig in their hometown of Boston. Every member of the band is over the age of 70, including frontman Steven Tyler, who is the oldest in the group at 75. Aerosmith has collected 4 Grammy Awards, producing hits such as Walk This Way, Dream On, Sweet Emotion, Janie's Got a Gun, and Don't Want to Miss a Thing, just to name a few. I think my favorite has to be Jaded. Okay, All right, get your cell phone and scan this QR code. It's our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. You can get breaking news alerts, vote on our viewer poll, get the latest in news, weather, and sports, and learn all about our ongoing contest right there on the app. Submit those news tips and photos. The time is now 6:40 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. We learn who the new chief is over at the Victoria Police Department.
President Biden inviting top congressional leaders to the White House for debt ceiling talks as the U.S. Treasury warns lawmakers to take action quickly. I'm ABC's Justin Finch with that story from Washington.
And the feel-like temperature is starting off in the 60s and building throughout the day, well into the 80s by the afternoon time today. What about rain chances? When will that occur? We'll take a look coming up.
Howdy, I'm John Zacek, Prosperity's area chairman. Our banking services work for our customers. Need a commercial line of credit or treasury management services? We can help. Working for our customers. That's the Prosperity difference. Real bankers, not just a bank.
Here sits the McDonald's hash brown, letting the breakfast sandwich shine, giving it undying support. The side that makes every main better. Let's all be more like the hash brown.
But why stop there? Don't just get hash browns. Get the whole breakfast. Right now, get a big breakfast with hotcakes for just $4.99. Only at McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For 14 straight years, Prosperity has been named as one of America's best banks by Forbes.com. To Prosperity customers and employees, thank you for helping us maintain this national distinction. Prosperity Bank. Real bankers, not just a bank.
Good morning once again. Meteorologist Trey Mining here. Wind speeds just about calm everywhere you go, picking up as we go through the day with winds near 15 miles per hour or so sustained. And plan by day, Port Lavaca, let's take a look at that. 68 degrees by 7 a.m. Getting near that already, pretty much at that point now. And 80 degrees or so by the 12 noon lunchtime hour, 80s by the afternoon time, cloudy skies. Looks like it's going to rain, but not quite there yet. And we need a little bit more instability in the atmosphere. That's on the way though. And temperatures currently near 70 degrees on the coast, 60s, mid to upper 60s from Victoria northward toward the areas near Gonzales and Hallettsville. Rain chances, well, we're going to hold off on those until we get to about Thursday or so, introducing the rain chances by then. And you see the amounts are rather light. If you run this model all the way through your Friday 4 a.m., well less than 1/4 of an inch, and pretty much staying that way as you run this model all the way through Friday evening at 9 o'clock. So rain chances there, chances are small. So far the amounts are pretty small as well. We'll take anything we can get though. Your full forecast comes up a little bit later on before we go this half hour. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. When you go to a baseball game, you don't expect to fear for your life. One athlete did. Sports director Gino Perez has more.
At Crossroads, a college baseball player is recovering after he was struck by a stray bullet during a senior day game on Saturday in which the University of Houston Victoria played in. Matthew Delaney of Texas A&M Texarkana was standing in the bullpen when it happened. He was quickly rushed to the hospital for surgery, where he's currently in the ICU but in stable condition. Police believe the bullet came from an altercation in a neighborhood near Spring Lake Park where the game was being played. They've arrested one of the alleged shooters, 20-year-old DeMarco Banks. They're still searching for a second suspect. They believe that person is a 17-year-old who was in an altercation with Banks when the shooting occurred. UHV baseball head coach Jonathan Stavanoa used to coach at TAMUT, so it was a mini homecoming for him, but he said he's glad that the athlete is okay.
You're locked into the game, and then all of a sudden real life hits, you know. There's things that are bigger than baseball in life, and that's definitely one of them, man. You know, it's going to come with a lot of emotions, and they're a strong group. You know, I've been around some of those kids for 4 or 5 years.
The game was ruled a no contest, and the UHV Jaguars are heading into the conference tournament as the 6th seed. That's your 25 Sports Now.
Thank you, Gino. We want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. Now to new calls for bipartisan action on the debt ceiling. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warns the country could run out of funds in less than 1 month without a debt deal. Yellen's warning comes as the president is inviting top 4 congressional leaders for a White House meeting as this country stares down an unprecedented default.
The U.S. Treasury again urging lawmakers to do something about the $31.4 trillion debt ceiling.
Since 1789, the United States has always paid its bills on time, and it must continue to do so.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen alerting Congress the agency could begin failing to cover all the nation's bills as early as June 1st. A dire deadline amid the ongoing showdown between the White House and the Republican-led House. President Biden drawing a hard line, calling on Congress to raise the debt limit without conditions.
We pay our bills, and we should do so without reckless hostage-taking from some of the mega Republicans in Congress.
But opening the door for talks, reaching out to McCarthy and other top House and Senate leaders for a May 9th White House meeting.
Sit down, negotiate it, get this off the table. Let me tell you, the American people are not going to stand for Social Security being up in the air.
That sit-down would come less than a week after House Republicans passed a debt limit bill allowing a $1.5 trillion cap increase.
The bill is passed.
But that hike only in exchange for nearly $5 trillion in spending cuts to Biden budget priorities, including student debt relief, veterans programs, and school grants. The president warning that debt ceiling inaction will directly impact American households.
It would lead to higher interest rates. Working people, middle class, and seniors would pay the price.
And time is ticking. The House has only 12 legislative days left this month, and economists warn a default could plunge the U.S. and other nations into severe recessions. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Leading us to your viewer poll, should the debt limit be raised without conditions? Okay, let's take a look. 25% of you say yes, and 75% of you say no. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote. You can also scan the QR code. It's right here on your screen to take part. The City of Victoria has named a new police chief to head the Victoria Police Department. Deputy Chief Chuck Young will take over as chief May 15th. Young joined the department in 2021 and has 42 years of experience. Young began his law enforcement career back in 1980 with the Dallas PD. Young says he was close with the previous VPD chief, both having worked for Dallas PD and even shared the same vision for the City of Victoria. So the department transition went over smoothly.
And they know that I'm always busy, always doing something, and they like that. And I think that's what the men and women of the department like that. And overall, I think it's a win for everybody, and I'm very excited and humbled by this opportunity. Humble is the key word.
In 2019, prior to joining the Victoria Police Department, Young worked in the private sector with the Dallas Symphony Association. He replaces Chief Roberto Arredondo Jr., who left late last year to join the City of Carrollton. Congratulations to Chief Young. The time is now 6:48 on your Tuesday morning. Still to come, the federal COVID vaccine requirement set to end this month. Find out which day.
The savings keep adding up for Fred Loya customers in Texas. In recent months, people who switched from Geico, Allstate, and Progressive to Fred Loya Insurance saved over $1,700 a year. State Farm customers saved over $1,300 a year. Include the savings of Fred Loya customers from multiple states, and that's a combined savings of over $1.1 million a year. Start paying less for your car insurance. Call or visit fredloya.com. If you don't call, you don't save.
Victoria Eye Center and 25 News Now brings to you every Monday a Vision Health segment to learn about eye diseases and possible treatments. Tune into the segment or go to crossroadstoday.com to learn more about eye health, brought to you by Victoria Eye Center.
Live Tuesday, we're talking Met Gala fashion. Plus, she's flying in from Neverland. Yara Shahidi. Achoo! Oh, sorry, girl.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a chaotic bee attack.
My daughter can't get in the car. She's being attacked by bees.
The frantic rescue of a mother and her 2 children attacked by a swarm of bees during a photo shoot.
The quick thinking of the mom, she picked up those kiddos, put them in the back of the car.
Firefighters responding to the scene in rescue gear, carrying the children to safety in the fire truck, spraying water and foam into the swarm to subdue the bees. Overnight, GMA speaking to Arizona fire officials recounting that harrowing incident.
She wasn't concerned with herself. She wasn't concerned with her own injuries. She, of course, wanted to protect her babies, which most moms would. And to have the foresight to pick them up and get them into the car under that much duress is really impressive.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll tell you the one thing you should not do if you encounter a swarm of angry bees. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Good morning, good morning. It's 9 minutes away from the 7 a.m. hour. Temperature is starting off near 70 degrees everywhere you go from Victoria southward currently. Mid-60s up there in Gonzales and Hallettsville, Cuero area. And they'll continue to rise throughout the day. Even though we have cloudy skies all day long, temperatures will still rise well above 80 degrees. Low to mid-80s by the time we get to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon will be our daytime high today. And we're seeing a few rain showers probably north of I-10 where the weak stationary front is boundaries up there still continuing to hang around that area. Mostly dry around here, but the rain chances will begin increasing as we go toward time. Not so much today, tomorrow, by about Thursday or so. Instability gets a little better. High pressure ridge in the upper levels of the atmosphere begins to move on to the east, allowing a more unstable atmosphere for us. 84 degrees for your daytime high in Victoria. Southerly winds, cloudy skies all day long with a little bit of a breeze. Overnight lows will be in about mid-60s or so. Areas of fog possible. And then for your day tomorrow, more cloud cover around the region. 82 degrees for the daytime high. Southerly winds, extended forecast for us. There's the rain chances coming in Thursday, lasting through the weekend. Also getting near the 90-degree mark by the weekend as well.
And now it's time for today's question of the day. It's National Teacher Appreciation Day, so we want to know which teacher has inspired you the most. Like us on Facebook, Crossroads Today. Post your guess to today's question. We'll have the answer later on Sunrise. The Biden administration says it plans to end COVID-19 vaccine requirements for federal employees, contractors, Head Start educators, and healthcare workers. The administration is also ending vaccine requirements for international travelers ahead of the busy summer travel season. The requirements will end May 11th, which is when the Biden administration is officially declaring an end to the public health emergency. In February, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to lift the requirement that most foreign air travelers must be vaccinated against COVID-19. On Monday, the Homeland Security said it will no longer require non-U.S. travelers entering the U.S. via land ports of entry and ferries to be vaccinated against the virus and provide proof of vaccination upon request. Still to come on Sunrise News to know before you go. 2 people injured following a crash involving at least 7 vehicles.
My name's Danny, and I absolutely love my F-150. I bought this particular truck because of the Blue Cruise. You literally let go of your hands. It just centers the car in the lane, follows the person in front of me, keeps a safe distance. In my experience, the Ford F-150 is the best in Texas.
Lease F-150 for $499 a month or choose 0% financing. Both include up to 1,000 toward accessories and complimentary maintenance.
Ford is the best in Texas.
The biggest Jeopardy!
Jeopardy event ever is in prime time. Monday, 6 all-time greats.
What is Grit?
Who's Carol?
What is Mean Girls?
One incredible tournament.
Oh,
I think you should get this checked out.
bring it.
Who will be crowned the first ever Jeopardy Masters champion? If we have any more games like that, I don't know if my heart is going to hold out.
Jeopardy Masters primetime event starts Monday, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
And now it's time for today's question of the day. It's National Teacher Appreciation Day, so we want to know which teacher has inspired you the most. Okay, Trey, we've got some answers here. I'm just going to share a few because we're low on time. So we've got Janet with Janie Parrish with Mrs. Tiller. And then Linda says Miss Doris Prince, Miss Faye Maroney, and Mr. James Spacek. Thank you to all those teachers out there. My brother's a teacher, Trey.
Oh, fantastic.
He's an art teacher. So shout out to my brother Orlando.
There you go. Love art. Art can inspire. Definitely love that. Teachers that have influenced me right quick, Miss Cowles, 12th grade journalism, way back in the day in the 80s. She was helped me to continue my dream and work toward a goal like that. Same thing with Miss Morgan, 8th grade science. So appreciate them so much. Thank you, teachers, for doing what you're doing. It's fabulous. It really does motivate people as they grow on and get older and get into their own careers. So stay tuned tomorrow for another great question of the day to get you going also for your Wednesday.
At least 2 people were injured following a crash that involved at least 7 vehicles that led to a house fire in North Philadelphia on Monday. Police say the driver of a red SUV was speeding down Diamond Street and struck a car. The crash caused the driver to lose control. The SUV went toward a sidewalk and crashed into multiple vehicles before striking a house. The windows of the home were shattered, the doors were destroyed, and the steps were dismantled. Authorities say the home also caught fire. One of the drivers involved in the crash fled the scene. Gender-affirming care for minors now banned in Oklahoma. Republican Governor Kevin Stitt signed Senate Bill 613 into law Monday. The bill bars healthcare professionals from providing gender-affirming care to those under the age of 18 in the form of surgeries, puberty-blocking medication, and hormone treatments. A healthcare provider accused of violating the new law could face felony charges. Authorities arrested a suspect in the murder of a Seadrift woman last week. U.S. Marshals report 23-year-old Frank Joseph Harvey taken into custody Saturday in Boise, Idaho. He is the son of 61-year-old Mary A. Vervan, whose body was found at a home in Seadrift last week. Vervan was the victim of apparent gunshot wounds. U.S. Marshals report Harvey was taken to the Ida County, Idaho jail where he will await extradition to Calhoun County. Harvey will be held in the Calhoun County jail on a $500,000 bond. Early voting in Victoria for the May 6th election continues. The numbers from the county look like this. 391 people voted in person early Monday, 1,917 in-person votes submitted so far, 43 mail-in votes received Monday, a total of 78 mail-in votes so far. Early voting wraps up today at 5 p.m. Polls open in about an hour or so at 8 a.m. You can vote at the Dr. Petty Dodson Public Health Center. That's at 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. Voters will decide on a $10 million bond for Victoria College and on 2 school board races in Victoria ISD, and Industrial ISD also has a school board race. All right, let's take a look at this is our invitation to you to download the Crossroads Today Plus app so you can watch us from anywhere on your connected TV or cell phone through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And let's go ahead and get a final check of our forecast with Trey. A lot of 20% rain chances, Trey.
Right, yeah, kind of small chances coming up. Not today, though, toward the end of the week. And for now, though, keeping it on the cloudy side. Maybe a few rain showers north of I-10 with the stationary front up there, a little bit of a boundary. But here, the atmosphere is simply too stable, waiting for high pressure to exit to the east to give us a little bit more instability in the atmosphere. Keep the clouds in place, which they will continue to do so. And we'll keep those temperatures on the warm side. And finally, seeing some rain chances. It looks like it'll be Thursday, best rain chance around here, but only about 20% so far at this time. 84 degrees today, nice and warm. Cloudy skies still continuing to hold firm. Winds from the southeast near 15 to 20 miles per hour. Overnight low in the mid-60s. Areas of fog possible early tomorrow morning. Be careful out there. Cloudy skies still continuing to dominate our area. 82 degrees for your Wednesday. Cloudy skies, warm temperatures, southerly winds to 20 miles per hour. Extended forecast for us, temperatures in the 80s, getting near 90 degrees coming up for the weekend and next week with slight rain chances. Lows near 70. Make it a great day today and stay cool. Carolina?
All right, Trey, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Teacher Appreciation Day. Be sure to write your teacher a nice thank you note before you head on to school. Come to crossroadstoday.com for more local news, weather, and sports. And join us for 25 News 5, 6, and 10.